This food delivery scammer met his match with a restaurant owner. This guy named Maximilian had been running a delivery scam on my restaurant for weeks. He'd order expensive meals, eat most of the food, then call claiming it was completely inedible, and demand full refunds through the app. The pattern was always the same. Large orders worth $80 to $120 delivered successfully, then complaints an hour later about food poisoning or terrible quality. The delivery apps would automatically refund him to avoid bad reviews, but Maximilian kept targeting the same restaurant. In 3 weeks, he'd scammed us out of $847 while building a collection of free meals from our menu. What he didn't know was that I'm also a data analyst who tracks every pattern in my business. I'd been documenting his scam with timestamps, order details, and driver confirmations. The smoking gun was his complaint timing. Maximilian would always wait exactly 45 to 60 minutes after delivery to complain, giving himself time to eat most of the food before calling it inedible. I decided to set a trap. I prepared a special order using ingredients he'd ordered successfully before, included a tracking device in the delivery bag, and had our driver take photos of the handoff. Right on schedule, Maximilian called 50 minutes later claiming the food was disgusting, but my tracking device showed the bag hadn't moved from his apartment, and photos proved successful delivery. Instead of fighting through normal channels, I drove to his apartment and knocked on his door, carrying a folder of evidence. "Hi, Maximilian! I'm the owner of the restaurant you've been ordering from. I wanted to personally apologize for the terrible food quality." His face went white when he realized the restaurant owner was at his door. Behind him, I could see our delivery bags and containers scattered around his kitchen, clearly emptied. "That's strange," I said, pulling out my documentation. "You've successfully eaten $847 worth of food from us in 3 weeks, always waiting 45 to 60 minutes to complain. Interesting pattern for someone with food quality concerns." I showed him printouts of his order history, complaint timing, and photos of empty containers visible behind him. "I'm particularly curious about tonight's inedible meal that you somehow completely finished." Maximilian tried to deny everything, but I had tracking data and driver photos proving he'd accepted the order happily. "Here's what's gonna happen," I said calmly. "You're going to stop scamming restaurants, or I'm sharing this evidence with delivery apps, other restaurant owners, and police for fraud charges." Maximilian broke down and admitted he'd been scamming dozens of restaurants across the city, pulling in about $200 a day in free food and fraudulent refunds. I contacted every restaurant in our delivery zone and shared his information. Within 48 hours, he was banned from all major delivery platforms for pattern fraud. The real justice came when I discovered Maximilian had been bragging about his free food hack on social media, posting photos of scammed meals with tips for other fraudsters. I reported his social media evidence to delivery platforms and police. He faced criminal fraud charges and had to pay restitution to multiple restaurants. The delivery apps now use my documentation methods as a template for identifying systematic refund fraud.